So what I think what I'm rounding about is I think that we're going to have many negative social aspects that affect the individual on a biochemical level from having just interaction through our phones.
Yeah.
Just not being able to conversate or talk with people or respond when someone approaches you, without getting extreme social anxiety. And again, these are nothing to be ashamed of. This is some social anxiety is something a lot of people go through. It's going to be in the next 10 years, like millions of people are going to have real serious hurdles to overcome with social anxiety and, lack of confidence in physical interactions.
Right, but like even something you just said just sort of like scared me in a way because you said, what does a depressed person look like? But we also live in a world where like we can mask that so easily. Like we go out and, when we are in person, like we have to like appear happy because we're at work or something, or it's like almost not okay to like seem sad or something because that's so jarring to so many people. Whereas also on social media, we're able to just like post a photo of us like looking happy for a few seconds and then
Hmm.
again, we all appear happy. So like that's even more triggering and a deeper thought of like, what does a depressed person look like anymore? Because we don't always see people in their like truest form that they're actually
Yeah.
giving off.
That's so true. Yeah. I mean, so it's going to be up to us as individuals to notice, like, oh man, my shoulders are slumped forward. Like I'm kind of giving into this meh. I'm not open and open to receiving the conversation that's coming at me. And it is interesting thinking, you know, like if you were to bring your top 10 friends on that you have on social media that you like kind of interact with, you like their pictures, whatever, you just have interaction with them. If you had to think of your top 10 friends, you'd probably say, oh, and, they're doing pretty good. I just saw them. Oh yeah. Ashley just got a new house. Sarah she just posted this photo with her and her family. It's great. But at this moment, you could, that maybe was 5 days ago or something. At this moment, they could be extremely depressed. They could be eating their second thing of ice cream because they're really feeling some self shame. They maybe they're sad. Maybe they're going through a breakup. Like there's so many. Humans are so complicated, but there's something about social media that paints it to where it's like, oh, I'm saying I'm all good. I'm perfect. I'm all good, and we read it kind of like that. I think we do that with famous people too. We see them on social media or on their life, and we're like, oh, what do you have to complain about? You're in a fucking mansion. But I mean, they're real people, and they have emotions too. They might literally deal with extreme depression, but they're trying to make sure their avatar, their image that's given to the world, is that same person because they have a career to take care of. And
Oh my gosh, that rolls like right into like cancel culture too, because like, some people's whole entire world is like just uploading content on the internet. And then if as soon as like a cancel culture moment happens, or if they like pull out, like it's extremely noticed, or they start to like fall back into it. That's also a really interesting concept.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
what a split in our psyche for real. What do you think about cancel culture? I was planning on having my friend Spencer, who I've done a couple like more serious, like, hey, the world is losing its mind. Let's try to get to the bottom of why sort of conversations. We are going to have a cancel culture conversation, and I think that him and I actually are on differing sides. I think cancel culture is crap, and he thinks that it's like an important thing, but he's also very intelligent. So I'm gonna, of course, listen to everything he has to say, and I love having the conversations with him. But what's your views on cancel culture? Like, what do you think about
So I
it?
guess I side more with you because I also think it's kind of crap.
It's trash.
Just because a great something I've been following very closely and like maybe trigger warning here, but is like David Dobrik. I'm not sure if you've been in the news with him, but
No, you gotta explain.
he's part of the Vlog Squad, which is like this. It was kind of like an internet house before it was an internet house, and an internet house is where it's like a creator place where like a group of creators sort of all like join together and they're all creating stuff on their separate channels, but then they're also creating stuff on like a larger channel.
Dope.
So David Dobrik, he's a young person. I think he's like 22, maybe 23. He's very young. He has a large mansion and he sort of came out from the bottom. He started off as like a Viner and then he's like just sort of grown up from there and also like really grown up with social media. Well, turns out a few years ago, one person that was in the very early days of the Vlog Squad took advantage of a female and they sort of like made that a video And he's known for making really short, like 4 minute and 20-second long videos that get uploaded to YouTube. And then that sort of like, David's vlogs. So she just recently wrote a letter about how somebody else that was in the vlog squad that is no longer in the vlog squad because he no longer wants to associate himself with that sort of person. And he was known as, I think his name was Dirty Dave, something along those lines was the name of this guy. Like he was very not okay even in the early days of the internet, because like early days internet was sort of like raunchy, very,
Wild West, yeah.
yeah, sexual, racist in a lot of ways as well. But because of all of this, David and again, he's like completely changed his platform. He's very big about making sure that everybody in his videos are like consenting to the video that they're uploading or that he's uploading. He has like everybody watch it before he pushes play or pushes upload. And like it's completely wrecking his whole entire life because this woman said that she was taken advantage by a former member of Vlog Squad, and he's lost all of his sponsorships. Like he was part of like HelloFresh and a few other ones. SeatGeek, I think, even had to like make a statement about it. He's no longer doing his podcast. He's lost his reality show that he was hosting. Like he was on the train to be like the next like Jimmy Fallon or something like that. And that's what he wanted to do. And now his whole entire life is just like wrecked because of like something that somebody else did that was like olden days,
Dude.
David. And it's like, that is not okay. Like you are now wrecking, like, and it's not even the letter that was originally written in the article that the girl had, made public. It's like it's now all the fans are like taking upon themselves to wreck this successful person's life, and it's like that's their career, that's a whole bunch of other people's jobs, and you're just like turning it upside down, and it's
Dude.
like,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
someone's livelihood, man. That's someone's job. Like that you don't
Mhm.
dude, we're doing this weird thing. I had in my conversation with Abrielle, I was talking about this WWE reality that we're feeding into. And it's like this overlay of we're almost, instead of believing what we actually believe, or like wondering like, okay, like what do I really think about that, and really giving it a few minutes to contemplate like, oh, okay, I know people who have done weird things. I know people who have that I don't affiliate with anymore, who have done things, or I've done things in the past that I'm not proud of, but like I don't do them anymore because I learn. That's what humans do. We grow and we learn and we get more mature as we age. But I think that I wonder if what we're doing a lot with social media in a very unconscious way is we're signaling, like all of his fans, all of the companies who are dropping, they're basically signaling like, hey, we don't condone that. That's what we're like, this is what we're saying by dropping in, is we don't condone that. When realistically we should, maybe we don't have to just skip over these things. Maybe this could have been like a one very serious day of press release for him and his team to be like, listen, here's the situation from our perspective. Here's what happened. Here's what we do now. Here's how we approach things differently because we've grown, because that's what humans do. Okay?
Mhm.
Now let's stop talking about it. If you want to be my fan, be my fan. Let's go. If not, like, I respect your right to leave. It needs to, we need to, our problem solving. I mean, what if we did this in real life? Like, what if we're all working a show, we're on a week-long show, and one of the days you come because you've had a bad day and you maybe you're not in a bad or in a good mood, and you kind of like snap on someone. What if we all get together and we're like, Megan, you need to go over there. We're going to have this conversation to talk about your future. And we all just decide like, hey, we don't condone people being aggressive. So to prove that, we need to fire Megan, and we need to call all of her future employers, and we need to burn her, and we need to shake a shame stick at her to make sure nobody else ever likes her ever again.
And we need
It
to make
doesn't
public
make sense.
statements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even making public statements is something that, like, should we have to do it just because someone brings up something from our past? I mean, I just don't. I think it's the most waste of time bullshit ever, is what I think. I think. Okay, so what would you say are some benefits? Is there any benefits to cancel culture? Like this situation with him, with David or whatever, that seems like completely nonsense. But
Yeah. And he's like, I mean, he's related to it, but like, I don't know. I've seen it so much within the last like 5 or 6 years. And like, I hate to say it, but like cancel culture sort of started when the whole entire like Me Too movement was really pushing through. and that can get on a different topic, but
Hmm.
the like so many people are so quick that they are angered at a person and then will make, I mean, in this case, in David's case, the accusations, I mean, there's video proof, are very true, but it's not even against David. It's just old people he was associated with. But anytime someone's like even angry at somebody, they'll make all these like false claims and then like try and go public with it or start tweeting and using social media as like a platform to like try and cancel people. And I think like if you are actually a bad person, those are the things that do need to shine through. But it's, oh, again, cancel culture is just a way of like trying to get a whole bunch of people to turn against these people. And then it turns out that they don't get the update when it's like, okay, this person's name was cleared. Like these people are never with anyone. The host of the Talking Dead, I'm really bad with names, so I forget it. He during the Talking Dead host, I gotta Google this because I need to know the name. Um, Chris Hardwick is his name, and he was host of Talking Dead, and he was doing a few other things as well. And someone came out and made all these like false accusations of him, and right then and there, he lost 4 of his main TV show deals. Like no one even like took a thought of like checking in with the other person or like, hey man, like what's up? It was real quick of like, we're just gonna drop you across the board. His wife was even like, I don't think this is possible. Like she had to make statements for it. And then it came out that because like he's known as like a good guy, at least publicly, that yeah, the lady was lying, and then
Man.
he was fine. He got all of his deals back, but like how many people didn't get that update because they weren't in the like height of the moment when it
Yeah,
was
he lost
cancel
so many
culture.
followers
Right.
for
And
sure.
so it never comes back of like, oh, okay, this person's like okay again, like continue to follow them.
Mm.
Because again, like we only know what the internet versions of these people are. These people are so famous that they're almost like unreachable that we don't get a moment to actually know who they are and their character, only what is posted. And so when cancel culture starts to arise and then we don't like we only know the like face value of all these people, so then we like wait to see if these people are actually like who they sold themselves to be, which is I think the like root of cancel culture. But
Right. I mean, I think that that's a huge part that you're saying, though, is I feel like the initial breaking story is the biggest deal. I mean, what you first hear, I mean, suddenly, if there's like the David thing, I'm sure a lot more people know about the breaking news, like, oh, he's associated with this, blah, blah, blah. And that'll stick in their heads. Like people who don't care about him or like don't know about him or like don't really watch him, whatever. In 2 months, as like as he casually comes up in a conversation, they might be like, oh yeah, didn't he like, wasn't he involved with some girl years ago or whatever? That's the thing that we remember. The breaking news story, the first thing, often the lie to sell clicks or to sell, like let's ruin this person's life so we can have 5 days of fame for this other person or whatever. Like because our attention span, like, because when I read something like that, I'm not going to set an alarm on my phone to be like, all right, let's make sure I'm going to check this story in 5 days to make sure that it wasn't disproved wrong so I can change my internal opinion. We don't have time for that. Like, we're just consuming so much new stuff. I mean, a week later, we're on to the next thing. And now we've just kind of had that one little memory of that whole person. And it's not fair to those people. It's not fair for them to have their whole, you know,
mm,
projected life really to just be suddenly cut off, the head cut off. He lost all of his sponsors and stuff because of an accusation, or it's
right.
and also I think we have to look at podcasts and this like this connectivity, like the fact that we're able to connect. I mean, you're in Florida, I'm in Washington right now. That's pretty profound. We're already just super used to it. That stuff helps us grow as humans. Like every conversation that I have, I become more mature. Every interaction that I have, and as I grow as a man, I change and I develop in different ways. So in an interview, if someone's like tries to catch me off guard, or they try to come at me, or they try to cancel me, or whatever, like here's the thing that happened to you, or here's the thing you said, or here's the thing you did this many years ago, I'll probably just be like, yeah, I don't owe you an explanation, but let's talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Here's that's who I was back then, and here's why, and here's the troubles that I had. But who I am today is this, because we have to have room for growth as individuals, as adults, because that's literally what humans do. We're here to grow and evolve and learn through experience. And I'm not trying. There is shitty people who have done shitty things, who have totally false, repentance and false, they don't feel bad, or they haven't actually learned from their mistakes or whatever it is that exist. But I don't know, cancel culture is just garbage, dude.
Right. And it always seems to like trigger at a certain time. So like this kid's like 23. So like, I mean, he was probably 19, 20 when his vlog went out because it was 2 or 3 years ago. And it's like he just made it. Like he just got like hosting status of the TV show. He just bought a $19 million house. And it's always like whenever a certain rise or like point of fame hits, that all of a sudden it seems to like crumble because like someone that you were associated years ago with like did something, and then a person decides to like come out and just like he found out about this whole entire claim the same moment that the rest of the world did, because this Hannah girl, I'm not sure if that's her real name or that's the name she's going by, like decided to go to a news organization that of course would love a David Dobrik story because he's very like hot in the internet world right now, and then just decided to probably got like a payout for it even to write this news article and then go public with it. But like, I mean, again, this is like edging on other topics. Like it sounds like something that needed to have been done privately. Like, yes, like, go after this person, they did something to you that you now feel the need to do something against, but like go after Dirty Dave or Dirty Dan. Don't go after like David Dobrik. He
Yeah.
really didn't do anything.
Yeah, you're coming after David Dobrik because he now has something that you can take.
Right.
I mean, I think Hannah's peanut butter and jealous. I think that's what's going on. She's like, I don't have much. I'm just working at KFC. Like, I don't have a mansion. And I remember this thing that's upsetting me. It's been upsetting me. That guy was involved. He was there. He was around. He knows the guy that hurt me. It's just the incorrect way. You're right. It's the incorrect way to go about it.
Like her feelings and her claims are very valid, but it's just like now the fans are all like cancel that he has like a clickbait hoodie. And so it's like cancel like clickbait and like cancel the podcast and go after all these other people. And it's like, not a lot of people have other claims. It's not like, Tiger Woods, who's like coming out and has like a laundry list of like claims going after people to like prove the character of this person. Like David did nothing. But yeah, cancel culture like upsets me a lot because then this like creator that I really like and like has really good content, and then it's a lot of different people all of a sudden it's just like destroyed and can't even make content anymore because like they can't afford to stop whatever other income that they have coming in to go back and creating videos or like creating whatever content they were making because like we destroyed their life.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. It's really. Did you hear about the Ellen DeGeneres cancel thing? It was like a little bit ago. So I don't know a ton about it. So if I misspeak or I'm misinformed, definitely correct me if you know more. But so my understanding is that she was like, because her image, the character that we see as Ellen, because just like Dwayne The Rock Johnson is not The Rock at all times, like he's playing a character when he's on stage. Ellen has like, she shows up as this very genuine, sweet person, and she's very kind and she's very giving. Her show has done so much good. She's helped so many people, given thousands, millions of dollars, helped crazy amounts of animals. Like Ellen has done a lot of good. And then she was about to be canceled or starting to be canceled because she snapped at like someone backstage, or she was kind of rude to someone. And it's like, hold up. Do you have any idea what humans are? Like, have you ever been rude to someone? Oh, you have? That's because you're a person. So is Ellen DeGeneres. Like, she can't be on all the time. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like to me, when I saw that story, I remember, because I really like Ellen DeGeneres. I feel like as a host, I kind of like halfway study her. I think the way she interacts with humans is she's very also, good
like,
with people.
What she's done to like change the like image of LGBT community in the public eyes, like very applauds. I love it. But yeah,
I mean, way back in the day when she was a comedian, like when she came out as a lesbian woman, like that was one of those things where like back then it was not okay, and like she got dropped from a bunch of stuff, and she had to basically restart her life over and like redig herself up as that from her career at that point. I mean, she's a legend and she's done so much good. To me, I don't understand how does all the good that she's done, how does that not like balance out? Like, oh, she was really mean, and so all of a sudden it cancels all that good. Like, fuck
Right.
all those animals she saved, fuck all those millions of dollars that she donated to these people, all the people that she's made feel genuine joy. Like that doesn't matter. That has no balance to weigh against the fact that she yelled at me in that meeting
Because
yesterday.
of workplace issues, which like we've had bosses that like suck as business people,
Yeah.
but are like really good humans at, like when you get to know them. And it's just like if you they're like Ellen is running around as like a as a company and as a as a manager of in a sense of like her whole entire image really. And yeah, you're gonna catch her at moments or like get caught at the wrong moment with like a production assistant and she's just angry because of like something else that's going on. Again with Elena that the reason why she was like getting canceled in that moment was because it was an image thing. She does do so many good things, but then to find out from a few people that like their workplace environment isn't 100%. But I think, I mean, that could have gone real south real quick, Ellen's thing, but I think she handled that in a way. And she was also caught up in that limelight when that was again a really hot topic was to destroy
Mhm.
people in like workplace and sort of claims. But yeah, as you said, she's a human. That was a work situation where she yells at managers. Like a lot's on the line. Like she has a lot of jobs that she has to like keep up for people.
Yeah, no doubt. And it just seems like, just because her show's public doesn't mean that all her dirty laundry should be public, you know?
Right.
Like that's another thing. I think that should have stayed internal. I
Mm-hmm.
don't, again, like I don't know the details, and like maybe Ellen said some like really mean shit, or she like was continuously mean to people, and maybe that means like keep it internal and you say like, you point it out to Ellen or somebody. I don't know. There's so many different things that could happen than the person who's disgruntled tries to tear down the person with the fame and recognition, and like, oh, because I know them, I know who they really are. It's like
Mm-hmm.
that's not a real sentence, you dick. That's like that's not how people work. People have bad days. People do bad things. Like people have to, stumble over some stuff once in a while so they can learn to look out for it in the future. We've got to have room to grow. And I'm not making excuses like like that doesn't mean you could do shitty stuff and say you're sorry afterwards and it's all good. That's not how
Right.
life works either. But it just seems so to me with the cancel culture stuff. I remember watching Ellen's apology for it, and I was on the other. I'm just watching it, going like, "What? Why is she doing this? Like, don't waste your time. Just I feel like we should ignore this stuff. I feel like we should just stop because it gets us. We see it and we're like, oh, Ellen did this. Oh, wow. But I want to stop even like feeding into that. I want to be like, that's probably untrue, and like I don't care about it. I don't. It just seems like of all the things that we're spending our 24 hours of day on, like what we're focusing on, why aren't we talking about like the environment breaking down? Why aren't we talking about like way more important things? Like how do we keep our sanity as social media is increasing in use? Like there's just millions of other things that we can be talking about than other people's dirty laundry or their sidesteps or their mistakes it just seems very non-helpful to fucking anything.
It also seems that we always get caught up on the like we always blow up the smaller things and then negate the larger things when like someone actually does something horrible and they're now on like actual trial for it, not just like social trial, but
Mhm.
like actual trial for. We'll often like push those aside because those aren't the trendy things to talk about in that moment. But then like, when someone yells at a coworker or some bad workplace stuff happens, that's the stuff that explodes. And again, like we see Ellen all the time on social media, like her video popped up for both of us, but like we don't see, except for in a very graphic way by like Peter or something, but we don't see the like environmental things that are happening that are going out there. And it's because we don't even really know if having like a land hurricane is at fault of like our environment or if that's just a natural thing. But those aren't the things that will get like put in the limelight, so those aren't the like hot topics for us to like cancel. Like we're not
Right.
going to like, how do you cancel global warming or like global change because of emissions when you can't really see that to like make a post about it to like prove it to people. Some people don't believe it's real.
Right.
Climate change is real. Global warming, who knows? But
Yeah. I mean, it almost seems like we're just doing this very high school, low
oh
hanging
my
fruit,
gosh.
Like, what's the easiest thing that we could all come together and argue about? Like, oh, so and so said this. Oh, I saw so and so texting this. Like it just seems so juvenile that we spend that. I mean, but I guess that's kind of what social media is in a lot of ways. Like, not entirely. It's certainly not completely that, but it does have. It is very easily like pulled into the high school way of viewing things, or even, if I look at Snapchat's social media that I still, or wait, I deleted the app yesterday. Okay, so Snapchat I would watch. I've been trying to get off social media a little bit. I had Snapchat because I only had like 15 friends on there, and they were kind of closer friends. So I wanted to like, I don't know. But if you look at the Discover page, just looking at the headlines, like the 4 words of, Kim reveals the real truth of why her and Kanye got a divorce, or so and so. Like, it's these clickbait, but it's beyond clickbait. They're painting a picture of an entire scenario for us to interact with, and it's enticing. It's weird because it's something where you're like, I don't give a fuck about that, but then sometimes you're like, I'm gonna click on it though, and we play into this really low, dumb emotional level of seeing problems, and we kind of don't take it serious. We take it as this joke. It's this fun entertainment for us. It's playing on the slot machine of our iPhone, but that's real people and their real life on the other side of that, and they deserve respect. They deserve to deal with their problems how they should deal with them, and then what they present to the public afterwards should be up to them, not up to news reporters and TMZ level people following them around and painting headlines and stories for us to fight about.
Yeah, Kanye, like I've fallen off the Kanye train, just that I don't spend time like Karen, but you brought up the Kim and that thing, or Kim and Kanye. And early in the days, and this is before, I mean, internet really has taken this weird twist that it has today. But when, Kanye kind of like went on stage and, blew up on Taylor Swift, like everybody saw that as like we hate Kanye now, like they're very against him. And like I had no care, like I don't love his music, but like I see him as a person, and he was going through so much. Like, his mom had died. He was so unbelievably close with his mom. Like he was just going through so much. And like no one ever stopped to go and like, hey, is Kanye okay? And it just became like a clickbait thing of like, let's go against Kanye. Like he's such a horrible person. This is like what he's done to all these other people. But like he was super edgy. He just lost his best friend. I saw what my mom went through when she lost her mother. And so like on a personal level and a very small, like non-public way, I can see like what that does to a person. But now when you're always pushed in a limelight, and if you sneeze, like, it's going to end up in a tabloid somewhere, like how that must destroy a person. So he wasn't able to heal through a death of like a mourning, because he was also having to deal with like all this publicity moments that he went through. And it's like, how has that turned him into the person that, he is today, that we saw in like 2019, 2020 Kanye, So he's a person I always like have a heart for, just because it's like he was in the public eye, and I don't think he ever got a chance to heal. I think that's Kanye's issue. And we're still like digging at Kanye. We haven't like let that go for him in order to like heal. Thing. Yeah, and he even like the Keeping Up with Kardashians a very popular show. Like he never wanted to like be on the show, or like he would never speak. Like he might appear in the background, but he would never actually interview or like talk to the cameras. And it's because like he can't move out of his house of a TV show that's being filmed, but he wanted to like try and be out of the limelight as much as possible.
Yeah.
Feel bad for him. And it's still happening.
Yeah. It still is. I mean, there's a lot of celebrities that go through that too, and it just doesn't make sense. It's like we shouldn't be feeding off of that. Shouldn't be creating entertainment, like other people's loss or other people's, moments. Like again, like we all get mad, we all get upset. Sometimes we get emotional, but like our friends or the people we're interacting with often, like they know us and they understand, and they're like, I get it. And then, an hour later we're fine. But presenting it to the world, we think it's okay for us as, as like we're audience members of someone's life. which is weird. Like, this isn't Gladiator. We're not sitting in here in the Coliseum watching two people like, yeah, come on, fight. Like, this is someone's life. Like, what if our new Gladiator, instead of watching two men fight to the death with swords, it's like a husband and wife, and we're like, oh, we want to know all of your drama. Like, we want to, ooh, she said that, ooh, the crowd
Oh, she
goes,
tweeted.
like, yeah, we're watching. It's like the public sphere has gotten just really weird and out of control. And I think that, like, we're interacting with it without understanding what we're contributing to it in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I mean, imagine, like you were saying, your grandmother, your mom, you lost her mom. Imagine if she had to go through that the day it happens. She's got cameras, TMZ. There's 50 people right outside the hospital. Like, they're like, so what? You lost your mom. How do you feel? What a maddening thing to do. What a maddening thing for anybody to go with. Again, with Kanye, he chose to get up on stage.
He did.
There was a choice, but he was going through some shit. So it's just kind of like this. It is a big deal in a sense. But there's also, I think, with retrospect and time, you kind of almost see where he's coming from. You almost have that sympathy of, oh man, that sucks. Like, and he really took that moment away from Taylor Swift, and that is sad in itself. She had to deal with trauma now from that. But it doesn't mean that he is the shittiest, worst person in the world. It doesn't mean that he deserves to, like, suffer. It doesn't mean that, like, all these mean things people say about him. Like, that's, I don't know. It's hard to run any sort of life with cameras and in social media and phones and stuff pointed at your face.
Yeah, and I think that's the root that I'm saying. I'm not saying it like, I mean, definitely sexual assault's not okay, and, like, yeah, attacking people or hurting people emotionally or physically is okay. It's that we, as, like, to create entertainment, we just like digging at people more and more. We don't, like, let them be, and then they become prisoners into their own house because that's the only place that's safe, that they can, like, have guards and stuff. And it's like, it's that's not okay. And I think that's, like, the worst that social media can do on, like, a larger, very public level. And then, even in, like, high school and stuff, you have, like, cyberbullying. That's a very real thing. And then you just, like, you kill at a human and, like, humanity just because there's, like, a screen in between you and that person. But you're still saying these things that, like, I wouldn't say in a large room of a crowd that I knew this person was sitting in. It's just like, that's just what's not okay.